The work that I need done is copying the units for a Certificate 3 in Fitness course onto a mapping guide and a candidate's guide and an assessor's guide. So the top one here, these two files are Word documents, which is one of 15 units required for Certificate 3 in Fitness, and I need to put them into these RPL documents here. So if we open up firstly the Word file for Certificate 3 in Fitness to work out what's involved in that unit. And this is the information that needs to be carried across into the mapping guide, the candidate's RPL tool and the assessor's RPL tool. So that's the actual tool itself. You'll see this is a certificate, well, a code, a unit of Certificate 3 in Fitness, and down here there is a number of elements and there is a number of performance criteria, and this is the information that needs to be cut and pasted and put into a one of the templates. So if I put that off to the side for a moment and open this mapping tool, and we should be able to see this is the empty mapping tool. So the unit and the unit description is on top of here, so I need the unit code, which is that. Copy it across to there. I need the unit description, which is Instruct Fitness Programs. Copied across to the unit description. On the header, I need that changed with the unit code and description. And then we have elements and performance criteria. So the elements are found just down here. I'm just trying to make that a little bit tighter. So element number 1 is identify fitness requirements. That is copied across to there. And the individual performance criteria is cut and paste from, well, copy and pasted from there into there. And that is done for each of the elements and performance criteria in each of the units. Underneath the elements and performance criteria, there are foundation skills. So the foundation skills also need to be copied across onto the mapping document down here as individual elements. So under the skills section here, we have reading skills 2. That is copied across to there. And then the description is copied one at a time. Oops. Into there, and we then need to create Excel, the spreadsheet to accommodate all of these foundation skills into here. There is also performance evidence, which is the same process. There's not actually any performance evidence. Actually, there is performance evidence, but it's not on this document. So I'll open up the next document. But effectively, all of that information needs to be transferred into a mapping document, and that mapping document must be in a way that is neat and easy to read. That should make good sense. So the information for the knowledge evidence, assessment conditions, and performance criteria is found on the next document, the assessment requirements of the same code. So that's the unit code there. Same code. It's just this is the assessment requirements. So if we scroll down to performance criteria, this performance criteria needs to be again transferred into an Excel spreadsheet over here, with each of the elements or each of the performance criteria transferred across to here. And then the knowledge evidence, same thing, needs to be transferred over to here. That way the process of mapping the units is a whole lot easier in the other documents. I hope that makes some sense. If not, then let's continue to communicate about it until we can get that making good sense. So once the mapping guide is completed, I'll get rid of that mapping guide for now. There is a candidate RPL tool, which the Unicode needs to be changed to the appropriate, for example, SIS FF IT 003. And the spaces where there is highlighted purple, that information needs to be transferred. So that's the code and the unit description again. Code and unit description on the candidates tool. This information here in purple doesn't need to be changed. You can leave that as it is. I will populate that myself. The elements here, I just need to make that a little bit larger. Under the section of the RPL task document on the candidate and the assessor's guide, each of these sections here needs to be populated with the element that corresponds from the original document that I've now switched off. But on the mapping guide, in fact, I might be able to find it easier. Each of the elements here, they need to be transferred across on the RPL task document under there. Hope that makes sense. And as we scroll through the candidate guide, I think that's all of the information that needs to be transferred. It really is that mapping document that I need done. Again, the unit code, the unit description, and those elements need to be copied in there for the first element, the second element, the third element. If there's a fourth element, great, that needs to go in there. And that's it for the candidate's guide. The assessor's guide and the candidate's guide is very similar. So if we open the assessor's guide, it's just a longer document. Again, unit code needs to be transferred under the self-assessment checklist, the unit code and unit description, and then the headline of the element, second element, third element, fourth element, as the case may be. And then on the RPL task document, the same as what we did on the candidate's guide, where we have the unit code and description, and then the element, the first element there. That's the second element down there. And the third element there, and so on, depending on how many elements there are, which there may well be more than 3 or 4. On the third-party report, unit SI, the unit code and description, the element, third element, fourth element, and more as needed. And that's the assessor's guide. So I hope that makes sense. My name's Anthony Spark. My email address is Anthony, ANTHONY, at AnthonySpark, ANTHONYSPARK.com.au. If you need to email me to ask me any questions, more than happy to do so. Happy to work through Fiverr. I'm just finding the communication is quite a struggle. Looking forward to getting this up and about and communicating if there's any issues. Cheers.